Аре, чача, реагираме на това.
Feel the same anymore. In the past, this competition was a celebration of football where fans across the world got together to watch the most entertaining tournament. But this year, it's different. There is no hype, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. It's hard to care when even the official song is trash, ticket prices are a scam, and the new rules are ruining the beautiful game. Everything indicates to a massive
Аз не мисля, че е така. Еби му майката.
disappointment. But
Защото новите правила реално забързват играта. И има повече игра. Official song ма боли газа, братле.
in this video, we are going to look over the 5 reasons why the World Cup has fallen off so hard, starting with ticket prices. This is arguably the worst part about this World Cup, and for you to understand how bad the ticket price
Хайпа на световното не се определя по цената на билетите, защото 90% от хората, които гледат световното, не са на матча.
actually are, here are the tickets cost for the 2022 World Cup. You had to pay $1,600 to watch Lionel Messi against Mbappe in what was one of the best matches in football history. Of course, it was the World Cup final, and with $1,600 you would get a premium category 1 ticket. Here is where you would watch the match from, and yes, it's not cheap. But this is for the most viewed sporting event in history, and you get to witness it from the best possible seats. Now, what about the 2026 World Cup? Well, prices may vary depending on the source, but from what I found, the cheapest possible ticket you can get for the final is $4,100
Как така, бе, what?
This is where you would watch the match from, and if you wanted a category 1 ticket, you would have to pay $8,680 for a game of football. 7 times more expensive than the 2022 tickets for the same experience. But it's not only the final that has outrageous prices, because in 2022 for a simple group stage match you would have paid around $70. In 2026 the cheapest ticket I could find is $165, and that is for a low demand game, Ivory Coast against Curaçao. But if you wanted to watch a high demand game like the US against Paraguay, the cheapest ticket would cost $767 on Viagogo. However, this isn't only about ticket prices being so expensive, it's also about FIFA betraying the fans. You see, in 2018 when the North American committee submitted its bid, they made a promise of group stage tickets being at a minimum of $21 as a way to create a People's World Cup, a tournament for everybody. And it's safe to say they betrayed everyone. Now, FIFA are a corrupt and greedy organization. They are the main reason why ticket prices
Това с билетите е много тъпо.
are so high, and it boils down to these 4 features. I'll explain it in the simplest and quickest way possible. 1. Dynamic pricing. Usually, tickets have a set price based on categories and stage, so naturally, a World Cup final ticket will cost more than a group stage one. With dynamic pricing, ticket costs increase in real time if a match is highly demanded. So initial prices can surge once the system detects buyer interest. So the more fans are interested in watching a match, the higher the ticket prices will be, no matter the stage or category. 2. The resale market. FIFA created their own resale platform that has no limit on ticket prices, so sellers can list tickets way above their value. Also, FIFA now charges the seller and buyer with 15% on both sides, so the seller takes home less and the buyer pays more. So for them to be profitable, they have to increase the price. High demand. The World Cup is now a bigger event than before, and with more national teams competing, there are more fan bases buying tickets, which creates a higher demand and naturally more expensive tickets. And finally, 4. The hosts. This World Cup is hosted by 3 different countries: Mexico, the US, and Canada. Countries with many tourists and high travel costs, and consequently with high ticket prices. But how much would it really cost to attend the 2026 World Cup game if you include all the fees?
Как 30% на всеки един билет,
report
който се е рестелнал? Това е на $1000 билет. маняка плаща $150 и продавача и той плаща $150.
in which they analyzed how much would it cost for England fans to watch their national team during the group stage. So for travel and hotels, a couple would have to pay.
В случая купувача плаща 1150 и продавача взема 850. И 300 са Джо Бъртле.
£5,791, and for free games, £4,000. 3,500 for the resale
И пак
prices.
тук на... Ето го. Тикет фи на билетите.
And 524 in fees. So overall, a couple would have to pay £12,000 or £6,400 per person, if we assume that they will spend £3,000 in survival costs, which is realistic in the US. That's 14 nights including all the fees. It's already looking like a disaster, but wait until you hear about the second reason. New format. The tournament very intense and unforgiving, but now a new format of 48 teams has been adopted, and after the group stages, 32 teams will still play in the World Cup, reaching the newly created round of 32. A team could qualify just by winning once or even drawing twice, but more teams can also lead to more matches between high-tier teams and low-tier teams, where Haram Ball will be used for 90 minutes. Imagine buying a $1,000 ticket just to see Uzbekistan have one shot on target, and that's because of a penalty. Also, the more games we will watch, the less special they will become, and with players already being tired after a long season.
Това е яко да има повече отбор на световно, според мен. Не знам. Повече отбори, по-интересни мачове, защото има шанс за повече отбори да се класират напред. Не се губи хайпа.
I can only imagine the quality of the game.
Добре сме кахеловски, брат. Гледаме едно клипче тук за World Cup.
Game dropping. Don't forget that the Champions League also adopted a new format, which increased the group stage games for one team from 6 to 8. And now the World Cup went from a 7 games tournament to 8 games. But the worst part is that we all know why FIFA did it. In case you haven't guessed yet, they did it for money. For FIFA, 48 teams instead of 32 means 40 extra matches, which will increase the revenue. It feels like everything is about money now.
Бате, 40 мача, те вземат по 30 от такси, отделно един билет струва майка си, баща си. Това не се коментира.
And the moment everyone realized just how much cash football can generate, they decided to milk the sport. More and more games, more teams, more competitions, more tournaments. Everything is done for money, and as a football fan, it saddens me. Like, this sport isn't about equality, quality of the matches, and passion anymore. It's all about money. A perspective which leads us directly to the third reason, loss of identity. I made several shorts about the new World Cup looking and feeling soulless, because in all honesty, it is soulless. The most popular part about the new World Cup is the song, not because it is good, but because it's so terrible. Everyone heard Lighter, and the general opinion is that it sounds like an AI song, or that it should be used as a commercial music for Gillette or Ford.
This nigga is trash.
Представя, че не му ли ми направим луд на Мбапе?
And when the lyrics are "Never felt this free before, I'm high and I'm getting higher, chains don't rattle no more, good lord, I'm feeling lighter," you can really understand it. A World Cup song is supposed to represent the culture of the hosting nation, but how do you do that when 3 countries are the hosts at the same time? In contrast, Waka Waka truly represented South Africa and the African continent. The lyrics "Zamina Zamina Zangalewa" aren't used by mistake, because Zangalewa is an African song sampled in Waka Waka. Also, Shakira says, "Cause this is Africa, this time for Africa." It's subtle, yet it clearly represents the host nation and its values.
Може ли да стане играч с най-много голове на световно до края на групите? Това е вярно, да.
Lighter, it's not about US, not about
Франция, кога играят следващия си матч, бе, гайс?
Mexico, and not even about Canada. It's a safe commercial song and that's about it. But it's not only the song that is terrible, the logo also looks like it was designed by a 4-year-old. 2026, the FIFA logo and the World Cup trophy. That's it. That's the logo. And now compare it to the beautiful
Стига, брат. В днешно време дизайнерите гледат да е simple, братле. Всичко да е изчистено. Това лого, примерно, е outdated.
2010 logo or the colorful logo in
Това е яко, да. Това е сигурно.
2014 or even the 2022 one. All of these express something. They have a meaning. The 2014 logo is made from free hands holding the trophy, representing unity and welcome with the hands helping each other, while the colors symbolize Brazil and its flag. While the 2018 World Cup logo had multiple hidden meanings. The dark blue section with stars represent Russia's achievements in space exploration, while the entire figure of the trophy represents
Бате.
Russia's national symbols, traditional matryoshka dolls and the famous Russian
Matryoshka
decorative
dolls.
art, Fabergé eggs.
Добре,
There is
братле, никой не му
history
пука за логото. В смисъл, ти гледаш световното, не гледаш логото на световното.
behind every element. And now, the 2026 World Cup logo.
Обаче, верно, изглежда страшно. Просто купата, която винаги е една и съща, е 26.
Bland,
Черно.
minimalist, it literally represents nothing. And don't even get me started on the 2026 World Cup intro. It is just as bad. Okay, we talked about the cultural aspect. Now, let's move on to the fourth reason, logistical problems. Now, I don't want to get political and talk about Trump's policies or the global situation.
това го знам.
I will try to focus as much as
Иран, за да играят на световното, ако играят в Америка, трябва да пътуват до Мексико след това да спят.
possible
След
on
малко ще видим,
football.
Мичо.
And here is the situation. To enter US soil as a foreigner, you must have a visa. And the problem is that visa issuance is suspended or restricted for nationals of 39 specific countries. And no exceptions were made for fans. So millions of fans won't be able to even get to the United States. Even if they have bought tickets, their access will still be denied. Many teams will literally have no supporters.
така, да.
But there is more. When Qatar or Germany hosted the World Cup, fans could easily take trains between the cities, as they are both compact nations. But when the tournament takes place on the entire North American continent, supporters will be forced to take flights to get from one state to another. They don't have access to cheap local travel anymore. You also add the crazy ticket prices on top, and you get a recipe for football fans who feel used for money and betrayed. And it only gets worse from here, as the fifth and final reason is burnout. We already talked about footballers playing too many games, but to truly understand the extent of this problem, here is the calendar the players had for the past 2 years. Expanded Champions League, which added 2 more fixtures per team, and now you take these tired footballers, many of them suffering from injuries, and force them to play 39 days in another tournament. Also, just look at how many players might miss the tournament entirely because of injuries. It is inevitable for the quality of football to drop when players are so tired. And again, don't forget that this World Cup will feature 48 teams, not 32. Don't be surprised if teams will look sluggish in their press or slow. Okay, we listed every reason why this World Cup will be a disaster, and after doing my research, I'm even more convinced that this will turn out badly. But the most concerning thing is that football might only get worse from here. FIFA are trying to appeal to more and more people. They are trying to be safe, to be a growing tendency to try and appeal to everybody nowadays. And not only in football, in gaming, in music, even on YouTube. You start seeing less and less unique creators who have that edge to them that may not make them universally liked, but they are loved by the ones who follow them. We watched football because of how close one goal brought us, because of how entertaining it is, 64 matches per day or artists. I couldn't care less about artists performing at the World Cup, and I would rather watch less matches but more special ones.
Това е луд, бе. Не знам, според мен световното, това, че има повече отбори, повече мачове и така нататък, е окей, защото виждаш Виждаш отборите им не само в най-добрата им форма, ами виждаш колко са издръжливи в същото време. Това с билетите няма смисъл да го коментирам, то е скандално. Това с политическите отношения на Тръмп също е скандално. Правиш евент в твоята държава, толкова голям евент и всичко, и не си отблокираш шибаните визи за туристи, братле, да дойдат в тъпата ти страна. Не знам. In my opinion. Важното е да има футбол, брат. Ще гледаме мачове и това е. Най-големият евент в света не е просто евент. Да, буквално е най-големият евент в света, братле, те просто Тръмп го боли газа. Аз ви казвам, Иран отиде да играе в САЩ, не може да спи в САЩ, братле, трябва да се прибере до Мексико. И пътуват със самолет след мача, брат. И имат почивки за вода. Whatever са почивките за вода. Нека те там са като гущери, братле. С толкова много мачове. Една пета от света гледа, не една пета. Да, съгласен съм. Колко? Това са човек над 1 милиард хора. Всичко е да си покажат рекламите. Това има много логика, между другото. Да нарушат темпото на игра и това е. Между другото, да, много нарушават темпото на игра по този начин. I don't know, guys. Той Иван дай го казва. Да. Ще да го направят само ако е супер топ времето. Ами да, ама няма как само в определени мачове си покажат магарите. Там рекламите. Ако така в някакъв рандом матч само заради рекламите. Да. Еми, I don't know, гледаме си световното и whatever. Не е нещо, което зависи от нас, така че констатирахме го. Не съм съгласен. Цените на билетите и това, че затварят САЩ, не можеш да правиш нищо, трябва да ти виза, ти не можеш да го гледаш това световно.